Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So today's video I am going to share with you 3 different Christmas cookie recipes. I'm going to do red velvet blossoms. I've never done those. I'm going to do gingerbread. I've made gingerbread before, but it was out of a package, so yeah, we'll find out. And I'm going to do hot cocoa cookies. So yeah, I've had a plan on doing the hot cocoa cookies from a cake mix, but my store was out of chocolate cake mix and was out of marshmallows, like the little marshmallow bits. So I'm going to do another recipe I found and cross my fingers that all of them work out. So I'm going to go in the kitchen and we're going to get started. Okay, so I'm going to show you how, like, the basic steps of making all of the cookies, but I'm not going to give you full directions or full recipes in this. If for the recipes and the directions, check my description box. There will be links. So, yeah. But I am going to tell you that I did this video and edited it the way I filmed it. So I started with melting the butter and the chocolate for the hot cocoa cookies, because I knew that had to cool, so I wanted to give myself time to do all of these steps and make several doughs in one day and actually get them baked in the same day. So that's what I was doing. I can't edit this clip down. I don't know what's wrong with it, but every time I try to edit it down, it corrupts it. So yeah, I'm sorry. But I let this melt on like a medium heat and I stirred it pretty frequently until it was all the way melted. Then once it was all the way melted, I let it cool off. And while I was letting it cool, I got started on the gingerbread cookie dough. So this is the dough that I had the least problems with, which I find hilarious. But this one is probably the easiest one. It doesn't, well, the red velvet's not hard. This one, I don't know why. It felt like the easiest one to me, because all I had to do was mix it up and put it in the fridge. And I don't chill in my mixing bowl. I would mix up the dough, transfer to another bowl, and put that in the fridge. That way I could wash my mixing bowl and get started on the next dough. I'm really OCD about doing stuff like this. If I'm going to do it, I have to do it in a certain way. But pretty much everything works the same way with this dough. I soften the butter, I dump in the butter, I cream the butter and the sugar, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. All like normal steps. And I will say, remember to scrape your bowl. The only problem I had with this one was stuff getting stuck to the sides of the bowl. So I scraped my bowl anyway, but just make sure you scrape your bowl for this recipe. But I think this might be why this is my favorite cookie dough that I made, because it looked like a real cookie dough. This is what cookie dough is supposed to look like in my head. I didn't grow up making cookies with butter, so I'm not used to what cookie dough looks like when it's made with butter. But if it's made with Crisco, that's what it typically looks like, and I'm used to that. So yeah. Now I'm moving on to the hot cocoa cookies. And I thought I'd left it in here, the important step of why you should crack your eggs in a separate bowl. But I cracked my eggs in because the first step in this was to crack in 3 eggs, and I dropped eggshells in there, so yeah. But I didn't learn, I just kept doing it. But I don't know, this dough was just weird to me. I think it was because the butter and the chocolate were melted previously. So you mix the eggs and the sugar together, and then you add it in the cooled chocolate and butter mixture. And you really do have to scrape this pan, because I don't know, mine did not cool for that long. I just let it set long enough to cool off where it wouldn't cook the eggs. And I did one more dough and washed the bowl and the paddle in between that. And in that time, my chocolate started to like not set up, but almost set up again. And this one also had you add the cocoa and the flour while the mixer was running. And I've never seen that. So, yeah. And this mixer is on the lowest speed I can get it to go on. But since I sped up the footage, it looks like it's mixing on high speed. Cocoa cookie dough looked like before I chilled it. I just separated it, or I just put it in another bowl and chilled it in the fridge while I made the red velvet cookie dough. And I don't know if I missed a step or what, but I am going to say this one right now. Chill the red velvet cookie dough. It does, I don't think it says so in the recipe. I've double checked the recipe, and I'm missing it completely, or I'm stupid, because I didn't chill the dough, and I just rolled it all, and they flattened, and they weren't supposed to flatten. They were supposed to kind of keep their shape. I think if I would have chilled them, they would have kept their shape. So definitely chill the red velvet cookie dough before you go to shape it into balls. Okay, so this is what the red velvet cookie dough looks like when it's done mixing. And my first thought when I saw this was, I'm not supposed to chill this. And I should have just went with my gut instinct and chilled it, but I didn't. So I just rolled it into balls as best as I could. Rolled it into red sanding sugar, which honestly, I don't think it needs. I understand why you roll it into the red sanding sugar. It's because it's supposed to look like a peanut butter blossom cookie, and those are typically rolled in sugar. But I don't know. They are good. They do taste like red velvet. But I just don't think they need the sanding sugar. But you roll these into balls, bake them for 10 minutes. Then when they come out, like I said, they're not supposed to be flat like mine were. you place in the Hershey Kiss. And this, I will say that the stove says it makes 18 cookies, and I got 19, so yeah. So I do like recipes that give you a number and then you actually get that number or close to it. So that made me happy. I just wish I would have chilled them and went with my gut, and they would have been fat instead of flat. I'm just basically rolling cookies. The gingerbread dough did the best for me, but I think it's because it was more like a normal cookie dough texture. And you roll these in granulated sugar, and I will say that I think these need the sugar, because if you're gonna eat them just as is, you want the bite of the sugar. It gives you a little bit of sweetness with all that spice. But you don't have to do it. So if you're not, like, I decorated mine with white chocolate, well, at least some of them, because it said to in the instructions, and they're really good, but I didn't decorate all of them because I wasn't sure everybody would want white chocolate on their gingerbread cookie. So, yeah. And I also will say, this is more of a soft texture cookie. So if you're thinking gingerbread, crunchy gingerbread, this is not what this is. This is a soft gingerbread, and I kind of like that. And I know my grandpa will like that because he can actually eat gingerbread without breaking his teeth. Because we made gingerbread houses this past weekend, and he wanted to eat the gingerbread house so bad, but it was just so hard because it was construction grade gingerbread that he couldn't eat it. So, yeah. But these baked 8 to 10 minutes on 350. And then when these come out, all you have to do is let them cool. And then after they've cooled off, you will see the next step after I've done another cookie. So now I'm rolling the hot cocoa cookie. In these, you roll into balls and you flatten a little bit. What I'm going to say is, I think these need to be rolled, flattened, and then put back in the fridge. And I think they would stay a little bit thicker, because mine spread and got really thin. But I think it was because I had the oven on and I was working next to the oven. And because it is butter and melted chocolate, this is going to melt super quick. So, yeah. And I would also add that I wouldn't top with the big marshmallow. I would either top with miniature well, actually, let me just do this step, and then I'll explain when I get to the next step. so those cookies bake at 325 for 12 minutes. And while that is baking, you cut marshmallows, like the big marshmallows, in half to place on top of the cookie. I would either top with miniature marshmallows or mix in marshmallow bits after you've chilled the dough, because in my opinion, because they expanded so much and they got so thin, I didn't have enough marshmallow for the chocolate cookie. And when I want hot cocoa, I want marshmallows. So yeah. I don't know, maybe I'm just being nitpicky, but I'm just gonna share with you. And I also left out the frosting on those. There is a chocolate frosting that goes with that recipe, and I just didn't do that. So after I let the marshmallows melt in the oven for 2 to 3 minutes and took those out, I don't know where that clipper was of them being done and taking them out. I can't find that clip. The gingerbread were cool, so I started decorating them with white chocolate. I also added sprinkles to some of them to make them look a little bit more festive. And then some of them don't have a whole lot of sprinkles. Some of them just have like 2 little holly leaves and a little holly berry for decoration, and some are coated in sugar and sprinkles, because that's just kind of how it came out of my container. That's what the gingerbread cookies look like when they are decorated. I just left them on the parchment paper or wax paper or whatever it is, and let them set until they were hardened. And once the chocolate was hardened, I set them up on like this little display thing, mainly just to take a picture. But yeah, that's what the cookies ended up looking like. That's going to be it for this cookie video. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Hit the red subscribe button down below. And I will see you for tomorrow's video. And other than that, thank you for watching, and I will see you tomorrow for my next video. Bye-bye.